What's happening, people, and welcome to the Rambling Dad podcast. Today, I'm joined by UFC legend and current karate combat heavyweight champion of the world, Smilin Sam Alvey. What's happening, brother? Let's go.
How you doing, my friend? I'm so happy I'm getting to talk with you.
Yeah, you two, man, finally getting to set it up. Obviously, we've tried a couple of times now, but it's all worked out this time. So you had a good weekend? You've been busy?
Yeah, man. All that, I fight next week, so I am constantly in the gym, going to and from somewhere, and I got 6 kids to keep me busy too. You probably hear them in the background.
the dad life, mate. I'm living it myself, but I'm not quite at 6 kids just yet. I don't think I'll make it to 6 either.
Well, I recommend it. They start off pretty good and they keep getting better.
Yeah, well, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. My daughter's just turned 2 in February, and it's just like, right, maybe another one needs to come along sooner, because every month they seem to just develop into some new young person that you just don't want to lose, and then they grow up even more and even more. So it's something that you want to just experience over and over again, isn't it? But like you say, that you've got your fight coming up next weekend in Cancun, coined as KickBack 2, to defend your title once again, and a beachside battle, they're calling it, which sounds pretty epic.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait. They just told, so originally I was supposed to fight on the 22nd. Then they gave me a new contract. Hey, we're gonna do it on the 23rd. You still good? And I said, I'm in. Let's do it. So I will be on the beach now. They pushing it back a day means the fight will be on a beach. The ocean will be to my front and back and side. And I'll be fighting on the beach. I'm pretty excited.
That's incredible, man. Karate Combat are doing some wild things. Obviously, they done the Coliseum event too, which was pretty awesome. Like,
yeah, oh man, I had so much fun there. It's such a big audience, and fighting in a Coliseum is just something nobody gets to do, and I've done
it. And going down as a Roman soldier almost here.
Oh, on my shield or with it.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. So talk to me a little bit about the fight and how's training been going for you?
It's been going great. I've really had a good camp. I've just had a lot of people in for me. My camp was full of people, which is always the hardest. I'm a big dude. It's hard to find enough big dudes for me to work with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. You don't get many heavyweights that you can get into the gym and actually train with, do you? I mean, even the likes of Tom Aspinall had to form his own team recently, so he's got heavyweights around him to do it.
Yeah, so I've got a good group of guys in 3 different gyms, and I've made enough people that can beat me up.
No, nice. That's one way of looking at it. So your opponent Antonio Ario. I'm terrible at pronouncing these names.
Yeah, I think it's Ahoyo. I think the 2 R's make a Ahoyo for some reason.
Right. Okay.
I'm busy, baby.
And probably also me being across the pond, I'm never gonna get that pronunciation. So yeah, the man's currently on a 2-fight win streak in the promotion. Both of his wins have come by finish as well. So how are you feeling about the matchup?
Oh, I love the matchup. I do. He's even been in the UFC, not nearly as long or with as many victories as I've had. But it should be a good fight that I come out ahead on. He kicks well. He kicks very hard. Now I'm looking forward to testing myself against him.
Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm sure many others are as well. So leaving the UFC, what attracted you to karate combat? What took you along this path to joining this promotion?
Well, in my time, I was in the UFC for a long time, and apparently in my time in the UFC, the rest of the fighting universe got soft. I couldn't get a fight. Like I looked everywhere and nobody would fight me. From the UFC, from being one of the most experienced fighters in the world, I've been able to see the progression of MMA. It started off with when a fight was offered, you say, yes, I'm there. And then you ask, all right, against who, how much? You just say yes first. Now the management companies have gotten so involved with MMA that you don't say yes anymore unless your management says, oh, okay, this will do enough for you politically. And it's embarrassing how these people call themselves fighters now, but don't fight. Like they only fight if they know they're going to win against the guy they know they're going to beat. And I spent a year trying to find a guy that knew he wouldn't lose to me. And I couldn't do it. I finally had to go up to heavyweight. I fought a real big guy in MMA and to beat him. And then I started talking to Karate Combat, where the fighters are real, where people are looking to fight more and they're looking to make a name for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. I've been a mega fan of you for years. I've been watching the UFC since I was born 1991, so it started 2 years after I was born. But towards like 1999 and early 2000s, when the internet started, and you start even at jiu-jitsu that I went to as a younger kid, we had VHS of UFC. So I've been watching this stuff for years and years, and I've been supporting you for ages as well. So I've seen the changes. I've seen the changes come through in MMA. I've seen how things have gone on. Probably more around the Conor McGregor era where these things started changing for fighters, where they were looking at it more from a big superstar aspect rather than the respect that's earned and what martial arts used to be. It's definitely changed in today's landscape.
Karate combat is still where I like to think fighters are. I think karate combat guys could call themselves fighters. They're not trying to be the athlete. They're trying to be the fighter. And it's so much more fun to watch people that do it because they love doing it.
Yeah, the whole production of the show looks absolutely incredible as well, from what I've caught of them recently too.
Oh, it looks so nice.
Yeah, I mean, even down to the aesthetics of it, like the pit and the lights and everything they put on, everything just looks crisp and smooth, man. It looks amazing.
I've never fought in anything as much as I like fighting in this pit. I fought in rings and cages and this and that, and the pit is the best.
Yeah. So, tell me a little about the structure and the rule set for anybody that doesn't know. I've got like a brief knowledge of it, but just go into it a little bit more.
Yeah. So the rule set is the biggest change is there's no jiu-jitsu. I can get a takedown, not like a wrestling shot, like a judo throw, and I can strike from top. They just changed the rule. It was I could strike for 5 seconds. Now it's I can strike as long as I'm looking for a finish. As long as I'm striking with the intent of finishing the round, finishing my opponent, I'll keep going. If my knees hit the ground as I'm raining down, it's an automatic stand-up. So that's the big change. Jiu-jitsu is not a factor. The boring stuff is not a factor. And then leg kicks. I can kick below the knee and above the hip, but the thigh kicks are no longer allowed, which doesn't affect me in any way. But that's the rule change. Everything else is pretty much MMA.
Yeah, I did see that live that they done there where they were talking about some of the rule changes, where they were saying if it goes down to the ground, unless you're in a grappling exchange where there seems to be no strikes being thrown, obviously there's no advancing and stuff, but if you are then just get your posture broken and you just clenching with each other on the floor or holding each other there, they stand you back up and that's it, get straight back into it.
Yep, that's right. And it just keeps the pace of the fighting going so much faster. It is the fastest combat sport out there. It's faster than boxing. It's faster than MMA. I just love the rule set.
So as you mentioned a minute ago, you're loving the rule set and obviously you're loving the pit. So different fighting style completely to being in an MMA cage, ring, and obviously in this case, like we said a second ago, you're in a pit. Like how does that feel when you're in there compared to being in the cage? Like space wise, like does it? I don't know. Does it feel completely different?
It's about the same size as the cage. So it's about the same size of what I'm used to fighting in. But because you don't have that cage to put your back foot on, you can't fight off the cage anymore. It changes things. It is forcing me to have to push forward. I've always been such a counter striker with the UFC and all my MMA. I'll keep that back foot up there to help stop the takedown. Now that pit wall, I want to be away from there. Now it's so much more easy to get the takedown on the pit. And if you're on the pit wall, you're as good as standing. You'll get hit until you die.
Yeah, I'm waiting on seeing a Smilin somehow with Superman punch off that pit wall though. I'm waiting on that day coming.
It's gonna come. It hasn't happened yet, but it's been on the tip of my knuckle.
See some of even when the guys get knocked back there and you can see them throwing kicks from it, it's just like, man, that thing is gonna damage somebody one of these days. Like,
it's crazy. Yeah, I absolutely love it.
So how do you approach training then? Is it any different for training for an MMA fight? Are you still taking it the same? Obviously, like you say, you need to focus now on your judo throws and everything else in there as well. Maybe consider the rule set a little bit differently. But does that affect your training or camping anyway?
Really not so much. I mean, I have everyone kicking at my calves and head a lot more than they want to. And still, it's really about the only one is I have them kick a little more. I try and train with faster opponents. That's the other thing about karate combat is every opponent, every person in there is fast. And I've never been a particularly fast guy myself, so it's something I'm really working on. I'm trying to create the speed in myself. My hands have always been all right, but it's my footwork, my head movement that I need to get faster. And so I've been putting a lot of effort into that.
That probably comes from like the traditional point scoring in karate, doesn't it? Where they know they need to be in and out and they need to be super quick. They need to land and get away so they get the point. So yeah, that's something you'll need to adjust to, where you're more used to an open free flow 5-minute round fight. Yeah, I mean, so
yeah, here it's 3-minute rounds. It's every minute of that round counts.
Yeah, 100%. So do you reckon this will be where you see your career out now? Then is karate combat?
Hey, I love him. I just signed a new contract with him. I'm with him for the next 4 to 6 fights, and I've been a big fan of everything they've been doing with me. I love the promotion they've been giving me. I'm trying to be the face of the promotion myself. I want to be the Mike Perry of karate combat. I think we have some of the best athletes in the sport, and I'm just thrilled with it.
Yeah, Mike Perry's really come into his own since he's gone to bare knuckle, hasn't he? I mean,
it's great. Yeah, it's so much fun watching him get to just go out there and be himself.
That's it. He's really owned his spotlight in that part. But yeah, man, I hope you can too. And so far, you are securing that legacy already. I mean, you've moved on from one thing and into another. So, like we mentioned a second ago, middleweight, light heavyweight in the UFC, had a heavyweight fight. How did you find the transition going into that?
Well, so heavyweight in karate combat is light heavyweight in the UFC. So heavyweight in karate combat's 205. So, look at this. I'm in my car. My chickens are coming in.
Yes.
My kids left the door open. I gotta get them out. Yeah, so my weight is about the same as it was with the UFC. UFC, I was at middleweight most of the time, but then light heavyweight, I went up there for a couple of years. Right now, I'm essentially a light heavyweight in karate combat.
All right. Okay. Cool. Well, I thought there might have been just a little bit more of an increase that you would have had in there, but no. That's so easy transition then. Pretty sweet, straightforward for you.
Yeah, because I'm not in the UFC, I can lift weights a lot more. So I am a true 205er now. I don't have to worry about hurting myself. I don't have to do anything because, so now I'm far bigger than I was in the UFC, and I'm just loving it.
Man, that's amazing to hear. And obviously, whilst you're kicking the chickens out of the van, that's a perfect segue into a comment that I wanted to ask you about. Is you live on a ranch, mate? Like, is it just livestock that you have? You got anything else going on? I know you said you had some lambs who were born recently because you've got some new babies.
Yeah, I've got 5 acres. I've got a lot of chickens. I've probably got 40 or 50 chickens. I've got how many goats? I've got 15 to 20 goats, 2 horses. I've got a pig. I've got a couple turkey. I'm living that ranch life right now. The way my wife and I call it, we're homesteaders, but we say when the Chinese attack and all hell's going, all shit's going to hell, we will last 2 weeks longer than everyone else. So,
bro, just call Sean Strickland to come and live on the ranch too, and you guys would be sweet. You know what
I mean? He knows. He said when the shit hits the fan, you come on out. We got a place for you. You just gotta help us protect it.
But you had to figure out how to feed those 6 kids and keep the budget down, I suppose. Let's get the ranch and get all the eggs and everything else coming.
The goats.
Yeah, that's it. The goats go first.
That is so nice. That is so nice getting the eggs. I mean, I'll bet you get 15 to 16 eggs a day from our flock. And it's more than I can eat. I eat a lot of eggs.
I can imagine, mate. One of my friends' parents, they had a few chickens. I think probably only either between 4 or 6, just in a coop in the back garden. And they literally had to give eggs away to neighbors. There was just that many of them.
Oh yeah. I've got so many eggs right now. I need to get more neighbors so I can give my eggs away.
So is it literally just a personal use, or how do you run the ranch on a day-to-day basis? What does a day in the life of Sam Alvey look like on a ranch?
Yeah, so it's kind of an all-day thing. I don't watch TV anymore. I listen to podcasts all day long. That's like all I do. I get up at 6 a.m. I get my kids to school. I go to my first gym, work out there for an hour and a half. I go to my second gym. I work out an hour and a half. Then I come home and I feed the horses. I let all the goats out. I take care of the chickens. I collect all the eggs. Once I get all that done, that takes 2.5 hours. Then I start repairing my house or fixing what we've been remodeling our house for a while. So I start working on the house. Then I got to go pick up the kids again. Then I got to go teach. I've got a food truck as well. So that's our side job, main job. Fighting's my main job. Food trucking is the close second. And so we got a food truck that we manage and that we work all the time. And so in my spare moments, I get to cook and prepare for that. And it is a busy life. I don't get to sit down until, I'm driving to my next practice.
There's not enough hours in the day. It's even sitting there listening to you say all of that.
Oh, it's stupid me. I decided I wanted to be my kid's baseball coach too. So I coach MMA for all of them, and I'm a baseball coach also on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I've got games on every other day. It is a nightmare and fun all at the same time, but man, it's hard.
Mate, you make me feel like one lazy individual, and I'm over here working, looking after my kids, trying to run a podcast and a YouTube channel, and thinking, man, I've got this, that, and the next thing to do. And then I sit down and speak to a man like yourself, and I'm like, yep, I need to up my game.
Oh man, well, you've got this YouTube thing down. I've been working on mine. Like, I'm trying to grow my YouTube, but it is definitely the last thing on my burner. Like, when I come up with a great idea, then I go film it. But I try and do it every other day, but really it's like 2 or 3 times a week I get out there.
Man, you're killing it. The content that you're putting out is like I've said to you on Twitter, and I said to you on Instagram as well. You actually post more than most of the people I'm subscribed to. And considering everything that you've got going on, it's commendable to how you find the time to not only be a husband, be a father, be a coach, like own a ranch. Obviously, like, we're going to get onto that food truck too, because I had a segue. You're just hitting me with segue after segue here. It's perfect. Like, this is just lining up. But I'm just like, I'm amazed at how you achieve all of these things, and from one dad to another. Like, it is absolutely incredible how you achieve all of this.
Yeah, I blame my wife. She's responsible for all of it, and it's been a blessing. It's all of it. Even the fighting is only possible because of how great she is. So it's a busy life, but I'm blessed every moment of it.
Well, they do say behind every strong man is a stronger woman.
Yes, it is true. She is proof of it.
Yeah. So let's get onto this food truck then, mate. So when did that start, and what was the thing that popped that off? The wife as well?
Yeah, kind of. This was a little bit of both of us. So take us back like six years ago. Wait, my daughter is. It would have been like 7 years ago. There's this TV show called The Great Food Truck Race. My wife and I started watching it, and we liked the show. Said, let's apply to it. I've been on a lot of TV shows because my truck is going somewhere. I've been on a lot of TV shows because I've always just applied to stuff. Every fight week, I applied to everything. So I was on the Broken Skull Challenge. I was on Make Me Laugh something. I was on a lot of stuff. So I applied to the Great Food Truck Race, and I just, hey, I'm Smilin, Sam Alvey. I'm in the UFC. Yeah, I want to run a food truck with you guys. And they got back to me. And my wife and I said, do you want to do this? And so we came up with the third person. Said, yeah, let's run with it. So we went through all of the screening process. Now, keep in mind, we have no experience on a food truck or cooking or anything. We didn't lie, but we exaggerated how much we could do and how much we knew about all of it. And we made it to, on this show, we made it to the final cut. It was between us and one other team. And they went with the other team and said, we would love to put you on, but you just don't know what you're doing. All right. Fair enough. But we just loved the idea. And so for years, we're fighting and doing everything else. And if UFC, we parted ways, and I think it's time. So we bought a food truck, and now we're food truck people, and I have so much fun doing it. She does most of the cooking, and I do most everything else with it. And then every now and then we'll have a real busy day where we both have to be there. Like yesterday, it was St. Patty's Day, kind of. And it was like 8 hours. We were in the food truck selling pizzas and paninis. And we just had a blast doing it. I get to hit on her all day and serve the greatest pizza Tennessee's ever had.
That's amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. Like, so where do you normally just pitch up the shop? Just somewhere local, or do you go to events and things like that too? Or
so it's events you have to do. If you just show up somewhere, you get nothing. Nobody pays attention to you. It's when you get invited by pubs and brewers or street parties like we did yesterday, that's when people are excited to eat from you.
Oh, wicked, man. So have you got anything, signature dishes or nickname items on the menu?
Yeah. So we're a pizza truck mostly. The name of our food truck is the Food Fight Truck. It's a great name. My wife came up with it. So the champion is our pizza. That's the dish we have every day. Then we have a versus menu. Whoever's going to challenge the champion. So it'll be paninis one day, and it'll be jambalaya another day, or mac and cheese some third day. So there's always that side challenging the pizza, and we just have a blast with it. all of our pizzas, our best seller is the H-bomb, you know, Hendo, which is sausage, bell pepper, and onion.
Yeah.
We have the Strickland sausage and pepperoni. We've got the natural Randy Couture's, the natural is the plain cheese. We have the GS pepperoni GSP.
Oh, mate, that is amazing.
Yeah. So and it's funny. The people that know fighting, they recognize me and they come whenever they can. They love the name, but everybody else has no idea what these names are.
Yeah,
so
they're coming up.
I just spend all day kind of chatting with people, telling them a little bit about what I do and how the pizza names came about.
Mate, that is absolutely like incredible. The creative end knows no bounds with you, I suppose. That is phenomenal, mate. To hear it and the passion I can see the passion that you've got for it too. And so it's like fresh dough, everything's made from scratch, and
yeah, everything's made from scratch. I would love to use my eggs, but there's the state licensing commission won't let us use our own product unless it gets something certified. So we have to use store-bought eggs, which is a bummer. But everything else is 100%. We make it in the truck.
Amazing, man. You maybe need to see if Karate Combat will let you take it down. You can be serving pizza 1 minute, dishing out knockouts the next, and then coming back. I have thought
about it. If they're ever close enough, I'll make that trip.
Oh man, that's something you could definitely do. That's even more content you could be making somewhere and doing something, you know.
Man, my wife, she loves that I do the content. She wants no part of it. She said, "Dude, we have to do it. You're the pretty one of the two of us." And I'm arranging it. We're gonna make it happen sooner than later. It just hasn't happened yet.
That's it. Just keep going one step at a time, I suppose.
Yes.
Amazing, man. So as we were talking about the content, like I said, you're unbelievable the amount that you put out, but where'd you get half the ideas that you're coming from? The Insta reels and the stories that you were doing recently are funny as hell, bro. But like, I'm honestly laughing my ass off, and people are like, "What are you laughing at?" And I'm like, "Just go and watch this, dude."
Hey, it comes to me. As far as I know, I'm not ADHD, but I might be as close to that as you can get. Like, if I read a comment, it will spark 1,000 different things. And then I got to try and narrow it down into what can I do for a minute long for my reel or my TikTok or my YouTube or whatever. And then the ones that are real interesting, I'll say, okay, can I make that into a 15-minute video on YouTube? And so it's just when my brain comes up with something, I got to run with it or I'll forget it.
Yeah, that's it. Straight right. You need to write it down or do something with it. But it's incredible because like do you do all the editing and everything yourself as well? Then there's nobody helping you with any.
No, it's 100% me, and it's the editing that takes the longest.
It's the longest, bro. So I made my picks video for UFC Vegas 88. I recorded 53 minutes. By the time I was finished, there was 19 minutes left, and it took me. Oh, bro, probably 10 hours, 12 hours to do that thing. And I was just like, this is absolutely insane.
How'd your picks go? Were you right?
Oh no, I had an absolute terrible night. So it was the worst night I've ever had in a long time. On the Rosen strike card, I hit every single pick.
Yeah. Okay.
100%.
$2.99. So I on TikTok I always said, the UFC picks by UFC fighter. Where if I'm wrong, I'll delete it and you'll never know. I got UFC 299. I got everything wrong. Like I picked 100% wrong. So I deleted it and made a new video the next morning, picking every fight correct and way. And it was like 2 comments realized what I did, and everyone else thought I just had great picks.
That might be an idea I need to take into the next one, I suppose. I might just go back and delete that video. Just like, nope, nobody's seen that. Nobody's seen that at all. But I'm actually on like another show with some friends, the Fight Week show, and we run a little picks competition week to week. And I did have a 10-point lead until after last night. Yeah. Now I'm still, I think I'm still 5 or 6 points ahead anyway. So
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I still left myself a little cushion there, but I definitely got caught up a little bit. So
I'll give you a tip. The closer the fighter lives to Dagestan, the more you should bet on him.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then never bet on girl fights. Those are my 2 rules, and with those 2, I usually do pretty well.
Yeah, well, I don't often put money on it, but when I do, it's usually $1 here and $2 there. I'm not a big better. I just do it for a bit of fun. You know what I mean, and stick something onto it. But a lot of people say don't bet on women's MMA unless you're betting on over 2.5 rounds, and it's just like, yep. And so you see most of them go. But that's not shitting on women's MMA. I love it. Like some of those girls go in there and bang.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, but yeah, I don't bet on girls.
Yeah, that's just not the way it's going to go. So, right, brother, I think I'll let you get going because you are one very, very busy man. So I'm gonna say, you know what I mean, thank you very much for jumping on. Thank you very much for your time. I'm sure you've got plenty of things to be going and cracking on with. So
yeah,
you've got
my goats keep getting out. I gotta go refence my yard. I bought a new. I'm not looking forward to it.
what time is it for you now?
What time is it? It is 5 o'clock. So I got about an hour and a half till it gets dark.
Oh, plenty of time for a man.
I think I should get most of it done.
A man of your energy levels, I reckon you could get that out. Just a few raw eggs as you're going along and doing it. That'll be it. So yeah, again, mate, thank you very much for your time, for jumping on. I'm glad we've managed to get this one done. You're an absolute legend. Like I said, I've been a huge fan for years. So just getting to sit down and speak to you now for 25 minutes, half an hour has been a tick on my bucket list of getting to speak to a legend. So all the best for next weekend. I hope you have a great time in Mexico.
I appreciate that, and we'll do this again. I'll have some more stories for you.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. I'd love to get you back on in the future. So thank you very much, and take care, man. Have a good day.
Hey, have a good one, my friend.
Peace.